Hi, this is Sue with Creations by Sue, and today I'm going to demonstrate how to do a cap on the Redline 1501 embroidery machine. So the first thing I need to do, I've got this frame part hooked to a table. I need to attach the actual cap frame to that, and that is this piece here, and you want to make sure this part, this middle piece that's kind of up, is on the top. And you snap it in 3 places, the bottom and the 2 sides. And then I've got an auto cap here that I'm going to be embroidering on today. It's a white cap. And I want to be sure that it's unsnapped so that can go around the bottom. And that the band here is pulled up because that's going to fit underneath this piece right here. But first of all, I need to put down a piece of tearaway stabilizer in there underneath where the cap will be being embroidered. So I'm going to go ahead. I see we have a little piece of black. Because to be honest with you, I had this all set and I started embroidering and realized I did not have any of the tearaway under there, so I had to re-hoop this and redo it and re-video this video. And then I like to put this center line, I match up with the center on this steel piece the best that I can. I'll show you. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see that middle line there, and then I'm eyeballing it. And I do turn it a little ways to the left because when I pull this metal piece up, before I do that, I need to make sure that all my parts are where they need to be. Everything is underneath the bottom pieces there. Then I pull this up. I'm keeping the teeth on the seam of this cap, the brim here. And then when I pull it over, it's going to kind of pull the hat with it, but it's not pulling it very much, so kind of work with it as I go to try to get it as centered as possible here. And that looks really good. So then I need to buckle it on the other side. And here you can see the buckle right here. So I've got that all buckled and it's all attached. And now I've got you on a view of the side of the cap, and I'm taking the cap and pulling it tight and putting 2 clips on each of those round, I don't know what you call them, they're sticking out. Clipping the cap to that, pulling it tightly, and I'll do that on both sides. Here we are at the machine, and I have my cap driver frame attached to the machine now, and if you need to know how to do that, Redline has some good videos out about that, and they're pretty easy to find. So now I'm going to take my cap, which is on that frame, and put it onto the machine. You just I turn my hat sideways, and then I turn it the way that it's going to go on here, up and down, and then I push again onto this frame. And I'm listening for those 3 clicks, making sure that it clicks the 3 times and it's all hooked in good. And it seems to be hooked really good here. The next thing I need to do is to get my design from my USB stick. So I press the USB icon on the first page, searching for my design. And this is going to be a fish, Jesus fish on the hat. So press that box. And then this little flower with the arrow, and that name is just fine with me. If I wanted to add an S, I'm going to press the X, and then it takes out that dash. And then I'll go here and I count 7S. Did not do that fast enough, so I will go back. And I have to be really fast, so 7S. There we go. If I go too slowly, as you saw, I get the 2 7s. All right, press check mark, and that's good to go. So I'm going to exit the screen by pressing this little icon on the lower right corner with the red arrow. And now I need to go to screen number 3, and I do want this to be black, but black is not number 1 on my machine. I'm not sure why that's showing up black like that, because I even have number 1 typed in as red here. But number 9 is black on my machine. That's where I have the black thread. So I press number 9. Oh, I know why. Sorry. It's showing this to be black. I must have already had the 9 programmed in for this. And this is just showing that it's just one step of stitching. All right, and then I can exit this screen and go to screen number 4. And this is where I will be doing my trace. And in order to do that, I'm going to go to this yellow icon. And I'm actually going to put in my frame to be the cap driver. So under frame none, I'm going to change that to cap frame. I'll press that. And then I will be pressing the check mark. And I'll be pressing the check mark here and the frame will move and I will show you it moving. So I'm going to change the position of the camera. All right, I'm going to go ahead and press that check mark. And there we go. So now I want to position where I'm going to put this design. So I'm going to be pressing the arrows on the round. I'll show you it. I'll be pressing these arrows to position my design. So I'm just going to press this first the presser foot down from needle number 1, and that will be what I look at to see the design as far as where I'm going with the center here. I'm pressing my arrow key on the screen and that's moving my needle. And I always do this on needle number 1. I just find that to be easier and that looks very centered from what I can see with my eye. The next thing I want to do is to trace this. And I'm sorry that I cannot show you what I'm pressing on the screen at the same time as what's happening on the hat. But I'm going to be pressing the trace icon that is the circle with the needle, and that will do an exact trace of the design location. So I'll press that, and I press the check mark, and now it's tracing it to exactly where it would go on the hat. From what I can see here, I think I'm going to move it down just a little bit and then retrace it. But we'll let this trace finish before I do that, of course. And what I'll do is I'll show you on the screen while I do the second trace so you can see what I do there. All right, so here we are at the screen. I'm going to press this key, I believe, to move the hat down a little bit. Yep, that did move it down. And now you can see it's out of the range of the cap frame because it turned red in here. So I'm going to move it up until, there we go. Now it's in range of the cap frame. And now I'm going to be tracing this, and to do the trace like I just did, I press this icon, and then I press the check mark, and I'm going to watch the cap here to make sure this design is where I want it to be and that it doesn't hit my frame at all. It shouldn't, but I still always trace no matter what, even though I've got the cap frame icon up. I do not want to hit any frames with needles. So it's all set to go now. So now I will exit this screen and press this red key right here, press confirm, and the fish is all set to stitch out. So I'll be stitching it out next. And to do that, I'm just going to press this button. I'll put the camera on the hat now so you can watch the stitching. A couple of things I wanted to say before the stitches is that it'll be a 7511 needle, and I'm going to stitch it out on the lowest speed possible, which is 400 on my machine. I'm going to go ahead now and start the stitching. For some reason it's not catching underneath, so I'm going to have to take it apart and see what's going on with the bobbin thread. The problem was that the bobbin thread was stuck underneath, so I'm going to just pull it a little bit and put it back in. Of course, this is not a great thing to happen when you're doing a cap, but it happens, and so that's just real life. Okay, now I'll put the cap back on. So what I'm going to do is back up the stitches one by one here, just so I get back to where I want it to start. Probably a faster way to do that, but that's how I do it. So, all right, now I will get it started again. Hopefully this time, yay, it's working. Okay. And it's unhooked. Oh, it's not doing well at all. Okay, now the thread broke. All right, well, this is how it goes sometimes, and that really broke. So, all right, I'll fix that. Actually, you might laugh, or maybe I'll cry, but I ran out of black thread, so that is why that happened. So I need to rethread the whole thing and start over. Lesson learned. Be sure to check that you have enough thread before you start your project. And now I have to string it through the tubes and everything because I didn't do that. Okay, I'll be back. The machine is now rethreaded for needle number 9, and I hope I did it correctly. And I have it also, I tore out what it started to stitch here, and I've got it back to the beginning position, so we will try this again. And it's all done. So I will just unhook it from the machine, from the frame on the machine. Show you the let's see. Here's a close-up of it. Looks good. And then I'm just going to unhook everything, and I'll take the cap off, and then I will go ahead and take that stabilizer out from inside the cap, and it'll be all set to gift to the person that who will be receiving it. All right, thank you for watching. I hope you've learned something new and enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up and be sure to press the subscribe button to be notified of future videos. Happy stitching! Bye!